Hello future professionals, welcome to day 25 of our top 100 coding question analysis. Today we are challenged with the question to find the number of pairs with their sum as yes. Now that we have our problem statement defined, let's have a hands-on experience of solving the problem. Let's assume that we are given with the list containing the numbers 2, 5, 7, 3, 6, 1 and we are asked to find the number of pairs whose sum is 8. So the resultant sum must be 8. Let's initialize a variable count to 0, right? Next, let's start by indexing the list. That is, the index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? Now let's start with the element in the 0th index and add other elements one after the other to find whether their pairs sum equals to 8. In similar manner, we take the first element in the list and add each element in the list after the first index one by one to check if the pair's sum is 8. So, effectively we fix one element in the pair and change other number of the pair and check if their sum is 8. If the sum is 8, then we increment the count variable by 1. Let's start by fixing the element in the 0th index and calculate the sum. The element in the 0th index is 2, so let's add other elements to 2. We get the answer as 7. Next, 2 is fixed, next element is 7. We get the answer as 9. 2 is fixed, next element is 3. We get the answer as 5. 2 is fixed, the next element is 6. We get the answer as 8. It matches with our result, so we increment the count by 1. Next, 2 is fixed, the other element is 1. We get the sum as 3. Next, we fix the element in the first index, that is 5. Then we add 7 to it. We get 12. Then 5 is fixed. Then we add 3 to it. We get 8. So now 8 is matching with the result. So we increment the count by 1. 5 is fixed. The other number is 6. We get the answer as 11. 5 is fixed. The other element is 1. We get the answer as 6. Next, let's now fix the index 2 element. The other element would be 3. The sum is 10. 7 is fixed and the other element is 6. The sum is 13. 7 is fixed. The other element is 1. We get the sum as 8. Now that it matches with the result, we increment the count by 1. The count becomes 3. Next, we fix 3 as the element and the other number is 6. We get the answer as 9. 3 is fixed. The other element is 1. We get the answer 4. Next, let's fix the element of the 4th index, that is 6. The other element would be 1. The sum is 7. Now that we have checked till the last element, now let's list the number of pairs. That is 2, 6, then 5, 3, then 7, 1. But if it is pair, we also consider the other way, that is 6, 2, 3, 5 and 1, 7. So the total number of pairs whose sum is 8 is 6, but count variable's value is 3. So the resultant would be 2 into count variable, that is equal to 2 into 3, that is equal to 6. Now we have arrived the exact number of pairs whose sum is 8. We can output that the number of pairs with sum as 8 is 6. Now that we have got the hands-on experience by solving the problem, let's derive the logic from the solved example. The logic is that first, let's get the numbers list and the sum value from the user. Second, since we have to select two numbers that is pair, we must use a nested for loop. That is, outer loop is for the fixed number and inner loop is for variable number. Next, we check if the pair's sum is equal to some value, that is result. If it is equal, if yes, we increment the count variable by 1, else we move to next pair, right? Once we have completed checking all the pair sums with the result, we shall print the output, that is number of pairs equal to 2 into the count. Finally, we terminate the program. Now that we have understood the logic, let's put it into practice by coding our program. Let's start by defining a function to get the user's input. I name the function getUsersInput. Here, we shall get the list and the sum value that has to be checked for. Let's now return both the numbers list and the result. Next, we define the second function to find the count of pairs with the sum as a result. Here, we initialize three variables that are n to the length of the numbers list, count and sum to 0. Next, we use the nested for loop, then we find the sum of their pairs and check if it is equal to the result. If it is equal to the result, we increment the count variable by 1, else we move to the next pair. Now let's return 2 into the count value. Now that we have defined all our required functions, it's time we call the functions. Let me call the getUserInput function and store the return value in the numbers result variable respectively. Let me call the findCount function by passing the numbers and result as the arguments and store the return value in the count variable. Next, we print the number of pairs with the sum as result. Let's now check for any errors or warning signals. We do not have any errors or warning signals, so let's run the program. Let me enter the same list with which we have practiced during the hands-on experience. The program is giving me the output that the number of pairs with the sum as 8 is 6. Thus, we have successfully completed our program I recommend you subscribing our channel to get more such interesting videos. I also recommend you to like and share the videos if you find it supportive and interesting.